All right, guys, welcome to our Sunday night team call. Efrosyni Adam is here, and tonight I get the real pleasure in order to basically link arms with one of my best friends in the world, someone that's helped me so much in order to build an amazing story over the last 16 years. I'll never forget the first time that I met him. We were in London, November 2008, and I heard that he was in town, and they told me that in order to walk on the stage and get the opportunity to shake his hand, you needed to hit a particular level in the company. And I didn't sleep for 3 days so I can achieve that level, just so I can walk the stage and shake his hand. And fast forward years later, not only did he go from being my mentor from a distance at the beginning to later on becoming a friend, and now practically family over the last few years. But it's not something I ever take for granted, that when you get the chance to learn from someone that has the success that you want, that's created so many millionaires, that's written books, that whenever you go to events with him, people are lining up because they want to get his autograph. I never take that for granted. I know that whenever I'm with him, even if he says things that I've heard sometimes several times before, sometimes listening to something with fresh ears, I'm always going to get a new gold nugget, a new gem that when I apply it, it's going to make an impact in my business and in my life. So, guys, grab your pens, grab your paper, get ready to take some notes, listen with some fresh ears. I think it's going to take us through the right game plan for massive success. Matt, my brother, over to you.
Amazing. Thank you for that introduction. I got to tell you, it never, even all these years later, it still always feels a little awkward, like good, but awkward because when you get edified like that, because I don't know, I think no matter how much success you have, you're the same guy, you're the same person, right? And so, um, thank you for that. It's very humbling and just super grateful for this industry. I was the kind of person who just always had this desire in my heart to succeed. I just wanted to win so bad, and it took me so long to figure it out. And it was such a frustrating process. But never forget where you came from, or you're on your way back, right? And so it's been so much fun working with Efrosyni over the years. Has become like a sister to me, and it's amazing. Like, it's so rewarding seeing great people win, and you're just such a great person, and you deserve it in a big way. And so today I want to run through. Um, and we're going to tag team this training. I'll do the first part and then I'll turn it over to Efrosyni. And I just want to give you, some of you are brand new, right? We are the beginning days of Viago. We're laying the foundation. We're in that foundation building phase of the company. And I wanted, even before I go through the fast start, I want to draw out something that my mentor drew out for me. See, my first success in network marketing was with a brand new company. Now, this was a company that the owners had never done network marketing before. So it was quite a bit different than Viago. I mean, we have a startup, brand new company, but the owner has been in network marketing, owned a network marketing company for, I don't know, close to 15 years, has been in business for 25 years as an entrepreneur, has done several billion dollars in sales. But it's something that I never forgot that my mentor shared with me. And I just want to share it with you because it's so appropriate for where we are right now in the company, right? And so this is from a book called Wave 3, The New Era in Network Marketing. And it was a book written in the 90s. So some of it may not even apply today, but this certainly applies. And what he talks about in the book is through how all network marketing companies go through 4 phases of growth. They go through formulation, concentration, momentum, and then stability. Formulation, concentration, momentum, and stability. And so what happens in the formulation phase, which is where we are right now, this is the formulation. This is where we're laying the foundation, the framework. It's when we don't have, like, there's no black diamonds in the company. We have a handful of diamonds, right? But there's not like this crazy overwhelming evidence of success yet. Why? Because it's new. In the whole company, there might be, I don't know, 3,000 members, maybe 5,000 members. I don't know. But it's not like this is a massive company. This is brand new. And so we just rolled out the new back office system. And right, there's been challenges with the back office system, and the website's new. And right. And so we think there's a lot of good with the company, but it's the worst it'll ever be. Why? Because we're in that foundation building phase. And so what happens is in the foundation phase, there's a lot of excitement. A lot of people get started, but a lot of people also fall off, and you're like kind of struggling to build and struggling to build. There's a lot of people saying, well, I don't see, like in my country, there's 100 people in my country. There's 50 people in my country. It's too new, right? And it may not be the right time for them. In the formulation phase, the foundation building phase, this is for the visionaries. This is for the pioneers. This is for those of you who are like excited about being a pioneer and a visionary. And so what happens is we work and we work and we work, and it doesn't seem to matter, right? The growth curve isn't like really huge, right? So we work and we work and we work, and it doesn't seem to matter that much, but we start building. We identify the leaders in our group, and concentration is the concentration of leadership. So this is where, we continue building, we continue building. It's not exponential growth. It's not like it's, insane growth yet, but it's starting to kind of take off. And so this is where we start breaking multiple diamonds, in your country. I don't know where you're at. Maybe you're in Zimbabwe, and, there's no diamond in Zimbabwe yet. This is where, there's 2 or 3 diamonds now in Zimbabwe. And, when the company hits around 50 million in sales or so, this is where momentum kicks in. And what it says in this book is momentum is the phase where exponential growth kicks in, when fortunes can be made overnight by the lucky few who got into the company before it went into momentum. And what happens in that momentum phase is this is where all of the naysayers and the doubters and the people who said, oh, I don't know if it'll work, I'm not sure, they need to see proof and like clear evidence, and they need to see a bunch of people winning before they're going to jump in and go to work. This is when they all go in. Now, I've been in this phase, and this is where people where like they're not that skilled, but they just take a lot of action, they get rich. And it's frustrating because someone who can be more skilled in the formulation phase and then the concentration phase, they're more skilled, but they're having less success than someone who has less skill in the momentum phase. See, and so that's the frustrating part about being part of formulation and concentration, right? So that's the bad part. Here's the good part. All those people who get in momentum, who aren't that talented, who end up getting rich, buying Ferraris and Lamborghinis, even though they're not that talented, they got in when there's like crazy momentum and it just seems like everyone's winning. They end up on your team if you build in formulation and concentration. This is where you go from like struggling and struggling and struggling to get to $100,000 a year. And then in momentum phase, it seems like you blink and you're making $1 million a year. I mean, I had $54 million earners on my team, 150 people over 150 that hit the top rank, which is an average of $50,000 a month, right? It was like, it gets crazy. The key is building hard in formulation and concentration, where you're the one who's captured the market share. So formulation is all about capturing market share, owning the market, right? In dealing with the challenges and understanding that there's challenges in these beginning phases. And so I just wanted to cover that first because it's important for where we're at. And so in building this, how do you become the leader who captures market share? And there's a handful of things, right, that are just super important. And this is rule number 1 for me. Rule number 1 is to have what? Have fun. Be excited about this and have fun. Get excited and have fun. When you have fun with this business, people are attracted to fun. People are attracted to a smile. People are attracted to those that have no emotional attachment to the outcome. So I know that when I do a presentation, a bunch of people are not going to join. Now, am I upset about that? No. The one thing that I used to hear all the time is like, oh, this is for everyone. Everyone, should get started in this. No, that's not the case. This is not for everyone. Not everyone is going to get started. That's why I do A, B, C. C is it's not for you. So, and now some people have different philosophies, and it's like, there's no. You're either in on the business or you're in on the membership, but there's no. No, people are going to say no. They just, and I'm happy to give them an out, right? Why am I happy to give them an out? Because I don't care if they join or not. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm going to have fun and be excited regardless. I'm going Black Diamond regardless of anyone who says yes or no. Okay. I'm just going to have a good time with it, right? So you want to write that down. No emotional attachment to the outcome. Understand, not everyone's going to do this. We don't want everyone. The whole world would break down if everyone did network marketing. Are we clear on that? If everyone joined network marketing and quit their job, the whole world would break down. It's the last thing we want. See, in getting rich isn't for everyone. It's not. Lifestyle freedom isn't for everyone. Everyone thinks, yeah, I want lifestyle freedom. I want to be wealthy, but they're not cut out for it. Right? And so we got to be okay with people who are not cut out for it. Now, could they? Yes, I think everyone could if they were willing to take the risk, if they were willing to go take the nose and go through the rejection and get trained. Everyone could, but not everyone will. And so since not everyone will, that means those people aren't cut out for it. And we got to be okay with it. Okay. So what's going to get you through all the challenges? What's going to get you through the people who say no? What's going to get you through the people who say yes and then they don't join? It can be very frustrating. Oh, I'm joining, I'm all in, and then they ghost you, right? Things like that just happen, right? And you got to laugh through the process because it's all part of the game. Write that down. It's all part of the game, right? Life is a game. It should be fun. We take ourselves way too seriously. And they say the world has been here for 4.5 billion years. If the world's been here 4.5 billion years and we have 80 years or so on this planet, it's been going to be gone in a blink. In a blink, your life will be gone. So have fun with it. Stop stressing about people who quit. Stop stressing about people who are complaining and stressing about people who are like, oh, the website needs to be this way or that way or whatever. Like, I just don't stress about it. Okay. Don't take yourself so seriously. Okay. So what keeps you through? Well, it's this. It is, why are you doing this? Right? What is a reason why success in Viago is not just an option, it's a must? Why must you succeed? And for me, it's very clear. Like, one is I've decided it's just who I am. I'm the kind of person who wins, right? And so I'm going to win because I decide to win. This is something I want. And when I go after something, I get it. It's who I am as a man. And so that's part of my why is it's who I am. It's the identity that I choose for myself is that of a winner, right? So I'm going to win despite the obstacles. What else? Well, my wife, I want to be able to take her all over the world. I think she deserves that, right? And so that's part of my why. I want to inspire my children to do big things in life. I want to inspire them to do big things instead of telling them to do big things. And so that's a big why. And so when someone quits or something's frustrating or, someone tells me no, I'm not going to quit on them because someone told me no. Why? Because my why is bigger than anyone's no. My why is bigger than anyone quitting on me. My why is bigger than someone saying, I'm going to join and then they ghost me. Okay. My why is bigger than that. Okay. Now, already in Viago, even though it's brand new, I've already sponsored people who've quit. In fact, I sponsored someone and then helped her sponsor someone, and then they both quit. Well, we got ahead of ourselves. We got another project we're working on. And I'm like, okay, listen, I'm going to be here. And I don't get frustrated about it. Why? Because it's all part of the what? It's all part of the game, right? And what's my number one rule? My number one rule is to have what? Fun, not to have stress. My rule is to have fun, not to have stress. So I choose fun over stress. Okay. So what's your why? Why are you doing this? Okay. Create those reasons. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is make a list. Okay. If you're brand new, you're not in Viago, you're not serious about Viago if you don't have a list. This is a list of people you're going to show Viago to, not a list of people you're going to enroll, because you won't enroll everyone, but you're going to make a list. Now, the biggest mistake people make is prejudging who's going to say yes or who's going to say no. You don't know, okay? I don't know the people who are going to say yes or say no. Some of the people that I think are definitely going to say no, I show anyway, and sometimes they say yes. I was telling a story the other day. There was a diamond in another network marketing company, and I was absolutely sure he had no interest, but it's a friend of mine. And so I like at least need to show him. And so I sent him a message and I said, hey, brother, listen, I know you're crushing it in your company and you probably have no interest at all, but I would be a terrible networker to see if I didn't ask you if you were open. And he's like, and he knew it was travel. And he's like, actually, if it's travel, I am open. And so he signed up. A diamond, a very public diamond, successful, very successful in another company. And I thought, there's no way he's going to join, but I need to be the message that I coach on. And the message that I coach on is, you never know, go show them anyway. So I showed him anyway. And you know what? He said yes. I had another friend of mine who I thought for sure is going to say yes, like absolutely is going to say yes. And we got together in person, show her everything, have her watch a video. And I'm like, she's naturally in. And she said no. Well, she said not, or like, think about it, right? She's always like thinking about it, right? For me, it's a no, right? Yeah, maybe, but I have this going on, give me a few days. And I go, okay, I'll give you a few days. A few days go past. I ask her, she's like, still not in. So that's a no to me. See, I don't like fence sitters. You know what a fence sitter is? Someone who's on the fence. They're not sure they're yes or no, whatever. I set a deadline. Like, by when do you need to make a firm decision, yes or no? And either way is totally cool. And in her case, it was like 3 days. I go, cool, 3 days, I'll give you a call. And she still tries to stay on the fence. To me, she's a no. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, if things change, let me know. That's a no, right? I'm not holding on. I got no emotional attachment. I got no energy around her joining. She's a no. Okay. Maybe she'll join later. I'm cool with her. I'm not like beating her up for not joining. She may join later, but that's a no for me. And I'm cool with that. Why? Because my number one rule is to have what? Fun. Okay. So make a list of people that you're close with. Start with at least your top 20, minimum your top 20. Who are the people that you know the best? Who are the people that, if you're married, who came to your wedding? If you were getting married, who would come to your wedding, right? And you just make the list. Now, if you're really serious, I would make a list of 200. Make a list of 200 people that you know on a first name basis. And some people are like, well, I don't know 200 people. But if I scroll through the contacts on your phone, you got 200 in there. Now, there may be people that you haven't talked to in years who would love to do Viago. They're looking for an opportunity. They're praying for an opportunity. They're just waiting on someone to call them. And if you don't call them, someone else is going to call the contacts in your phone if you don't. So just be the first one to call them. See, my whole thing is, all I'm looking for is a decision. I don't care if they say yes or no. I got no emotional attachment. I just want to show them, right? So you're going to make a list. If you're, minimum 20. If you're serious, 200. Okay. Now, once you make the list, what do you do next, right? You are going to invite. Now, don't confuse invite with present. Okay. Presenting is explaining all the details. Inviting is saying, hey, I just saw the most amazing movie. You got to see it. That's kind of what we're doing here, is we're inviting someone to see either a live Zoom presentation and meeting with them in person, or we're going to have them watch a video. Okay. So how do you do that? Well, and from an enrollment standpoint, your enrollment ratio is typically going to be the highest if you're in person. And so if someone's local, like with my friend who told me no, I sent her a text, coffee this week, question mark. Literally, that was my invite. Coffee this week, question mark. Yes. Cool. Right. That's a great invite. What else? Lunch this week, question mark. Okay. The key is you're not explaining, you're not presenting the business on an invite. Okay. Most of the people I've enrolled, I've said, hey, I've got an idea I want to share with you. Are you in front of a computer? Got an idea I want to share with you? Are you in front of a computer? Okay. Um, Very simple, right? It is, I got an idea I want to share with you. You can say, when do you have about 20 minutes of time this week? Have an idea I want to run by you. Okay, what is it? It'll take about 20 minutes to explain. Can you tell me something? Yes. The answer is always yes. Yes, it'll take about 12 minutes. The video, if you go to viagopresentation.com, africalaunch.com, there's other presentations out there. Those are just the ones that I recorded. And then there's live Zooms, right? So I'm going to invite someone to see it. Like whatever you feel confident saying to have them see it. The key is don't do the presentation yourself. Why? Because most people are not salespeople. They don't want to explain all the details, okay, themselves. So if they hear you explaining all the details, they think they have to explain all the details. I'm not saying business opportunity. I'm not saying travel club, right? Idea. I always use the word idea. I got an idea I want to run past you. Okay, then we're going to present. We let someone else do the presenting. And then after they've seen the presentation, right? So invite, present, enroll. Now, what's the key to enrollment? The key to enrollment is this. You have to ask them to join, right? Hey, are you ready to get started? Do you want to partner up? The presentation is over. Awesome, isn't it? Do you want to partner up? Awesome, isn't it? Are you ready to get started? Very, very simple. You just have to ask, because if you don't ask, then they're not often going to be like just jumping in the boat. Like when you're fishing, how many of you ever gone fishing? When you go fishing, you have to reel them in. You have to set the hook and reel them in. The fish don't jump in the boat. It's the same thing here. People don't jump in the boat. Typically, you have to reel them in. How do you reel them in? You ask, hey, are you ready to get started? And if the answer is no, what? You're totally cool with that. I'm going to move on to the next one. There's a great book that changed my life. Go for No, right? Go for No. This book is all about how the most successful people in any type of sales are the people who get the most no's, right? Here's my secret. This is why I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars compared to people who haven't made millions and millions and millions of dollars, is I've gotten rejected way more. I've gotten way more no's than almost anyone in network marketing. It's like, Matt, you've made $20 million in network marketing. How have you done it? I've gotten rejected massively. I mean, here's a great book. I would recommend this book, Go for No, by Richard Fenton and Andrea Walls. Okay, Go for No, right? And so this is the funny. Yes is the destination. No is how you get there. So I'm going to get personally 2 to 3 no's for every yes. I have to go through 2 to 3 no's for every yes. So the only way for me to get the yeses is to go through the no's. So I understand that all of my goals, everything I want in life, I am just a number of no's away. I'm probably 200 no's away from $1 million a year in residual income. Now, a couple hundred no's away. So go for no, make no the goal. Okay. And then finally is train, right? Have people tune into this. We have pre-recorded trainings on the Team Global site. There's a fast start training video in the guide section that you can watch. The key is like promote trainings. We have an event coming up that I would definitely recommend you promote. We'll talk about that in a second. And I want to talk about your 2 biggest expenses. Now, some of you, if you've heard me do this before, don't type the answer in the comments. But I want people to like get this fresh. If you've never heard me do this, what is your biggest expense? Biggest expense in the chat. Again, if you've heard me do this, don't type it in. But in the chat, what is your biggest expense? Okay, let's see. Time, rent, mortgage. Rent and mortgage can be a big one. What else? What's your biggest expense? Biggest expense. Okay, and so I'm going to just put an example here, is if you're making $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year, what's your biggest expense? All of my animals time, school fees, mortgage, rent, food. Now, typically, and it could be different in different places around the world, but I want to cover what your second biggest expense. Your second biggest expense in life is this, is taxes. Number two. Okay? Because I don't know, like in the US, if you make 100,000 a year, your tax rate is going to be something like 38%, 36%, right? You have property tax, right? So sure, you have a mortgage or whatever, but most countries have a property tax. You have sales tax. You have the gas. Like, I don't know if you realize, but like a lot of when you go fill up with fuel, a lot of that is taxes. Okay, so there's all these different taxes. When you stay in hotels, there's all these taxes added. When you die, you pay taxes. When you make money, you pay taxes on that. When you invest the money, even though you've already paid taxes on the money, and then you invest it, and then it grows, you pay capital gains taxes on that. So most people around the world, that's going to eat up about $40,000 to $50,000, right? So that's your second biggest expense, is taxes. It's your second biggest expense. What's your biggest expense? Your biggest expense. Let me draw something out for you. And let's say you're making $100,000 a year. What's the difference between $1 million a year and $100,000 a year? Is $900,000 a year. So your biggest expense is not actually taxes. Your biggest expense is not knowing how to make $1 million a year. If you're making 100,000 and you could be making $1 million, what's it costing you to not know how to make $1 million a year? It's costing you $900,000 a year. This is your biggest expense, a lack of knowledge. A lack of knowledge is always going to be your biggest expense in life. So I want to just cover this because there's the difference between the poor, the middle class, and the rich. What's the difference between the poor, the middle class, and the rich? And it's all about philosophy of money. And so today I just wanted to briefly talk to you about some philosophies on money, because this is not a conversation that you would learn in school, because in school they don't teach you how to be rich, do they? Teach you how to get a good job, right? You don't learn financial information in college, maybe in college, depending on where you go to, but certainly not growing up. And in fact, when I went to college, I didn't learn any of this stuff. I learned this from a multi-millionaire guy who is like crazy wealthy. And when I saw this, it opened my mind up. I was like, holy cow, lack of knowledge is always the biggest expense. So what's the difference between the poor and the middle class and the rich? And it's all about philosophy of money. So poor, what the poor believe the purpose of money is to buy things and to pay bills. To buy things and pay bills. That's what the poor believe the purpose of money is for. And so when poor people get some money, it's like, ooh, now the reason for this money is to go buy things and pay bills, right? And so what happens is, even when poor people start making a lot of money, and I'm not talking about poor is more of a mindset than anything else. It's more of a mindset. So you can make $1 million a year, and I've known people who make $1 million a year, but their mindset is poor. They go off and buy a several $100,000 car because they thought the purpose of the money that they received was to go buy things. And so they went and bought a massively depreciating asset, and they bought watches and cars, and it's like they had a Rolex and a Breitling and a this, and then all designer clothes, and all of the money that they earned, they spent on things. And many of them today are what? Poor. They never changed their mindset. And so from a monetary standpoint, they were rich for a little while, but because they never changed their mindset, they ended up monetarily what? Monetarily poor all over again. Now, the middle class, they believe the purpose of money is to buy assets. The problem is they don't understand what an asset really is. So they go buy a car. A car is a depreciating asset, okay? And so most middle class, They go buy as much as as expensive as a car as they possibly can based on their income. They go get a mortgage. They buy a home. And average thinking, middle class philosophy is that a home, your home that you live in, is an asset. It's actually a liability. Why? Because it's an expense. Oh, yeah, but it's going to appreciate over time. Yes, but you're paying the first, what is it, your first 10 years, 90% of what you pay on your home, you're not actually paying on the principal, you're actually paying interest on your money. Most people live in a house, most people, the average person will never pay off a house their entire life because they'll remortgage it and remortgage it. They never actually pay it off. And so, yes, the house appreciates, but you've invested all this money into maintenance and you haven't really bought down your principal much. You've put most of your mortgage for the first, 10, 15 years, most of your mortgage is actually going to interest. It's not even principal. So a house is actually more of a liability. Now, if it's a rental home, that's what you would consider to be an asset. An asset is something that makes you money. That's what an asset is. Okay. And so that's what the rich believe an asset is something that actually makes you money. No internet connection. I'm okay with that. I don't need an internet connection. Okay. Now, what do the rich believe the purpose of money is for? The rich believe the purpose of money is to do this. The rich believe the purpose of money is to multiply your money. When I get money, whatever money I receive, I'm going to take that money and put it somewhere where it multiplies. Okay, it's why Friday I spent a bunch of time looking at a self-storage investment opportunity, putting about 50,000 in a self-storage investment opportunity. Why? Because if I put money somewhere else and it can earn me 20% a year on my money and grow that asset, it multiplies it. It's why I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars. I added it up. It was probably a year and a half ago. I added up all the different coaching and mentorship programs and all that I've invested in, well over $500,000. It's why I'm rich today, because I realized in my 20s, someone taught me this a long time ago, and it changed my philosophy, where it's like, all right, when I get money in, rather than buying things, let me go multiply the money. And if you focus on multiplying money, you will be rich, my friends. And so I want to turn it over to someone who is a hero of mine. I mean, she's an absolute hero. I mean, built teams, network marketing teams of hundreds of thousands of people, like well over 400,000 people. One of the hardest working people that I know. She knows network marketing like most people never will. She's probably forgotten more about network marketing than most people will ever know. Just an amazing leader, and like has this incredible heart to serve others, whether they're on her team or not. I mean, it's one of the things that I think is why she will always be rich, is she has this abundance mentality that I'm just going to help everyone and bless everyone. And I know it's going to come back to me. And it has come back to her. She's one of the very top leaders in Viago, and one of the reasons why Viago will become a household name. And so, Efrosyni, I'm going to turn it over to you, my sister.
Thank you, my bro. Appreciate it. And it was so powerful listening to you talk about these lessons, by the way, because it's one of those things that I believe that we owe a lot of our success to. It's just understanding what to invest in and starting with the first investment, which is in ourselves, to get this type of information. And that's one of the things I want to share with you guys is that I was talking to a friend of mine literally just the other day, and this friend of mine was in network marketing. And one of the things that I really love about this guy is that true servant leader, always very strong work ethic, and always a big fan of the trainings. He would never miss a training. He would fly from continent to continent, investing in himself. And when he left network marketing, got into insurance, he applied the same principles, and he was telling me the story the other day about how a lot of his colleagues were laughing at him, going, "Look at you, man. You're spending your own money. You're flying to New York to do a training. You're flying over to in all these different countries to do trainings. Why are you sitting there spending all this money on trainings?" And this guy, I saw him climb in the last 4 years in the insurance industry to the number one insurance agent in all of Cyprus. And listening to him the other day, I realized, the principles that we teach in network marketing is not just about network marketing. The things that we teach here, like what Matt just taught, is applicable in every area of your life. Whether you're learning a new skill, whether you're learning how to create freedom, whether you're learning how to build this business, being able to collapse timeframes by learning from the right people, applying the tried and tested methods, is something that can help not just to elevate your income, but elevate your life. And I'm here in Australia right now. It's 1:45 in the morning. I'm sitting in a caravan because everybody's sleeping at the house. I'm staying at a friend's house about 300 kilometers from Perth. And she's like, yeah, don't keep us awake. She said, I know you're going to do your thing. And I know you get excited and you're going to talk loud. So go to the caravan. And I'm sitting in the caravan. I'm looking around in the caravan. And it's kind of surreal a little bit, because when I was a kid, the only kind of holidays that we could afford growing up was going and staying in a caravan. Now, this is a luxury caravan. We definitely did not stay in luxury caravans when I was a kid. The caravans, we would always go to these caravan parks where you had to wear your flip-flops and walk out to have public showers. And being a little shy kid, I wanted to always make sure if I was going to have a shower, there was nobody else around. And then goodness, you definitely don't want to basically feel like you need to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, because the toilet was not in the caravan. The toilet, you had to walk a few meters away. And I was 10 years old and we just moved to Australia. And the only thing that a lot of people said to me about Australia is that it's got some of the most dangerous animals in the world. And I remember being a kid and walking, and yes, I'm going to tie this together, by the way, and walking to the toilet and looking out for spiders and seeing, is the spiders deadly? Is there a snake on the floor? Is it safe for me to go to the toilet? And when I was a kid, I still thought that that was the best experience ever, to be able to see new places with my family, even though I had no other reference point apart from staying in caravans. And now seeing the last few years, the experiences that we've been able to have, and I just realized that what network marketing enables you to do, guys, is to design your life. Literally live a life by design. Most people don't take the time to design their life. Most people go through their life not following a particular plan, but more about falling into accidentally someone else's plan, their boss's plan, what reality kind of throws them their way. And that's why plugging into trainings like this is so key, because these trainings become almost like a GPS. It's a GPS to guide you through life with a plan and a system that helps to hold you accountable by being a part of a community of like-minded individuals that are doing something in order to elevate their life. And when you hang around this kind of community, you're going to start improving your life by default, literally just by being around the right people. And I want to share something with you guys here. I know that Matt shared it in the presentation, which is the different levels in the company. And the first 3 levels or so, maybe even the 4th level, is levels that you can get to by being a great producer. Like, you can literally learn how to do addition in this business, learn how to invite, learn how to get people in front of the information. And if you do that enough time, putting people on the Zooms, sharing the video, and you do it over and over and over again, you can add a bunch of people to your team. And literally by adding a bunch of people to your team, you can get to the first, I would say, 2 to 3 ranks for sure. The 4th rank is possible, but the 4th rank, something else needs to kick into place. And the thing that needs to kick into place to hit the 4th rank, later on the 5th rank and beyond, is duplication. If you don't learn how to duplicate, and I see a lot of people making this mistake sometimes, they become really, really good producers of just putting people in the system, producing. But because they haven't identified the key to duplication, what ends up happening is that they end up having this hole in their bucket. And even though they're working really, really, really hard, they're not working smart. And as they're putting people into their team, because they're not helping them get results, because they're not helping them to duplicate, this hole in the bucket begins to form, and they're always playing catch up. And the other thing is, as well, is that if you want to go from these ranks to the higher ranks, the diamond ranks, the blue diamond ranks, and the black diamond ranks, you're going to go through learning addition by being a producer, learning how to duplicate so you can get some speed into your team. But the third ingredient as well is learning leadership, learning self leadership first, but also learning how to help your team to elevate their leadership. And I remember when I first came across this industry many, many years ago, and Matt also shared this with me as well, was that, I remember going up and asking all the top leaders, just tell me what the secret sauce is. Just tell me the one thing that I can do in order to create freedom. And all of them said the same thing. They said, addition is great, multiplication is better. He goes, get really, really good at putting people into the team, but then get excellent at promoting and getting people to the trainings, because that's where duplication is going to start, at the trainings, by helping people to elevate their belief. And at the same time, that's where you're also going to help people to elevate their leadership mindset. And I'm one of those people that I really love to track things. So over the last 16 years, I can pretty much, I would say 90% of the trainings I've ever attended, I've got an Excel spreadsheet on of how many people that I had from my team at each of the events. And over the next 12 months, how many new people joined my team. And I worked it out over the last 16 years that on average, it's 10x over 12 months. That's what I worked at on average. Now, sometimes it's more, especially when there's company momentum. I realized it went up to 15 and 20x, but on average, it was 10x. So if I want to achieve Black Diamond, which is my goal, okay, now I know Matt's probably going to do it faster than me, but I'm going to be chasing his tail, okay? But to achieve Black Diamond is 10,000 people in your team. Then I got to sit there and create a plan. And this is what I have in my mind, that in order to put 10,000 people in the team, I need to put 1,000 people into the big events over the next few months. And I'm sharing this formula with you guys because I know some of you guys are brand new. You're like, yes, I know they're talking about Dubai, they're talking about Dallas, and I'd love to go to Dallas, or I'd love to go to Dubai, but I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I can get the visa. I don't know if I can get the time off. And you've got all these things going on through your mind, which is similar to what I did when I first got into network marketing. And I remember one person basically saying to me, listen, if you knew without a shadow of a doubt that by attending this training, you would get everything that you needed to achieve the freedom lifestyle that you want, is there anything that would stop you from attending this event? And the answer was no. If I knew that I could be guaranteed success, I would always find a way. Whether I needed to borrow the money, whether I needed to sell something in order to be able to get to the event. I remember the first training event that I attended, international event in network marketing, was April 2009, where I had to fly from London to Los Angeles to attend a training. And I didn't have the money. I was mortgaged up to my eyeballs. I had £40,000 of credit card debt because I bought my second property in London. I didn't have enough money for the deposit. So I got creative. And when you start paying off your credit cards, see, the credit card system is designed to keep you in debt. It's a very clever system. So I would pay off a credit card, and all of a sudden I would get another credit card in the mail saying, "You have been pre-approved for another £5,000." And then I would take that credit card and pay off the first credit card, and then I would get another credit card saying you've been pre-approved. Now I'm very grateful that I only have one credit card for my company purely for credit scores, and everything else is paid off because I don't believe in having a lot of credit. But I had maxed out all my credit cards because I was £50,000 short from buying my second property, and that's what I had done. So I had no money to go to training. I definitely didn't have the time. I remember going to my boss and saying, "Hey, look, can I take some time off?" And he's like, "Efrosyni, this is our busiest season. You can't take time off right now." I'm like, "Look, I just need to go to LA for a couple of days to check something out." I mean, my boss looked at me like I had two heads, like, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "No, you can't take the time off." And I almost listened to him. But that night, I remember I couldn't sleep because I was thinking, what if this is my shot at having freedom? And one of my goals was to fire my boss because my boss was an acquired taste. Let's put it this way. Okay. He was very difficult to work for. He was one of those guys that he was just about the numbers and really not much empathy for the stuff. And the way that we used to work in that office was if you didn't achieve your targets 3 months in a row, you were fired. It was like literally every end of the month, somebody else was going to get fired. So it was a very toxic environment to work in. And even though I loved what I did, I hated the environment. So I remember going to him the next day and I said, "Look, I'm going to take the time off. I'm only taking 3 days off." I said, "You want to fire me? Go right ahead. But I'm going to be away for 3 days. And when I come back, I want to be working 7 days straight in order to make up for it." The best decision that I took is not to let somebody else dictate my future for me. And I took the risk. And I'm not telling you to do this, guys. And I'm definitely not telling you that if you come to Dubai, I'm going to guarantee you success. I can't tell you that. The only person that can guarantee your success is you. Here's what I can tell you: it's definitely going to maximize your chances of winning this business. Coming to an event, investing in yourself, surrounding yourself with the people that have the results, coming in with the student mindset. That's the first key. But the second key is ask yourself, when you look at these numbers here and you say, "I want to achieve 25 squared because I want to make $500 a month. I want to achieve 50 squared. I want to make $1,000 a month." And if we understand that the number is on average 10x, okay? Well, let me ask you this. If you want to achieve $1,000 a month and be 50 squared, how many people do you need to take to Dubai with you in order to maximize your chances of achieving that rank? And if you haven't booked Dubai, how are you going to promote it to your team? Because people follow people that know where they're going. And in order to follow a leader, the leader first must learn to lead themselves. If you want to be able to be a true leader is what? A true leader is a person that influences someone to do something that they normally wouldn't have done had they not communicated with them, had they not led them. I remember when I got challenged by my mentor that if you're really serious about building this business, you got to be in LA. If I don't see you in LA, I'm going to know you're not that serious. And that one conversation was enough for me to basically find the way to be there. But at the same time, what did he do? He gave me the biggest gift of getting me to think outside the box and not buying people's excuses by not buying my excuses in the first place. So having that test as well also becomes part of your testimony. Because if you're in a situation where you really want to be in Dubai, but there's something holding you back, here's the cool gift about it. When you find the solution to be in Dubai, you're going to be able to use that solution in order to influence other people and help them to think outside the box, so you can help them to also make the decision to invest in their future, invest in the training, and invest in their business so they can accelerate their life. So my invitation to you guys is 23rd of December. We've got about a week left of 2024 right now. Before the end of the year, make a commitment to yourself. What level do you want to achieve in 2025? How many people do you want to have in your team? How much income do you want to be making in 2025? And in order to achieve that, start working backwards and go, how many people do I need to take to Dubai with me? I need to take 10 people. What if over the next 2 months, I focus on getting 5 people booked for Dubai in January, 5 people booked for Dubai in February? Or if you're going to Dallas, of course, you got about 3 weeks. Or, you could go crazy. You could do both events and build a team in the US and build a team over here in Europe and Africa. Why not? Think bigger. At the end of the day, the world is our playground. We got over 40 countries to play with. We're not limited to the country that we live in. We can make money worldwide. We can make money in multiple time zones. We can create our own world through this amazing community, a world that knows no borders, a world that basically enables people to help each other, regardless where they're from, regardless what language they speak, to only speak the one language, the universal language of freedom, of being able to help each other to create the freedom lifestyle and live a better quality of life. So that's it from my side. Next weekend, as we have the last training of 2024, I'm very excited to share with you guys that we're going to focus a lot on creating a master plan for 2025, a goal setting workshop. For those of you guys that are going to be meeting us, we're going to have something special for you guys, a mastermind session by the pool or by the beach. We haven't figured that part out in Bali as well. So guys, let's make the last week of 2024 count. We will have our presentation tomorrow night. And during this week, we will basically share the schedule with you guys, with myself and with Matt Morris. And always excited to help you guys win big with us in Viago and create the biggest momentum ever going into 2025. Matt, I don't know if there's something that you want to share. Back over to you.
That's it. Amazing, amazing. I appreciate everyone, and we're right at the top of the hour. Efrosyni, you're amazing. I appreciate you so much. So let's have an amazing Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Let's spend some time reflecting on the year, thinking about what we learned, and more importantly, thinking about what we're going to do and what we're committed to creating in 2025, because it is going to be a freaking amazing year with everything that we got planned. So love you guys. Have a great day.
Merry Christmas, guys.